Welcome to the African Album Review Podcast, where we review Africa's best and latest music projects.
Africa Murise. My name is MJ Wemoto and I welcome you to the African Album Review Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today, my people. How you doing? Me, I'm alright, a day at a time as we do this thing. Before we get into this album review, how about you visit motomotomusic.com. That's the website where you can find all the African album reviews that I've done. And you can also check out the Motomoto podcast. And there's also a PayPal icon, top right-hand corner. Your donations are what keep this podcast going. So please do support us. Thank you.
The latest African album review is...
The Maven Camp has an uncanny ability to drop fire EPs to introduce their secret weapons. And here comes Ayra Starr after strong endorsement from Don Jazzy and a series of tweets asking influential industry people to support this new act. Ayra Starr gives us her self-titled EP, which I am going to review today. She's 18 years of age, she's from Nigeria, and she also dropped her first video on the same day she dropped this album, and that one is called Away. So let's get into this review and I'll tell you a bit about Ayra Starr's music. The self-titled EP has 5 songs, 13-minute runtime, no features, multiple producer placements that include Lauda, Dio Gray, Don Jazzy, those 3. And mixing and mastering is by Icon, Lauda, and Johnny Drill.
Album review.
Let's analyze the music.
The lead single, Away, like I mentioned earlier, is the one that starts off this EP. And it is a wonderful piece of work and a great introduction to who Ayra Starr is. It's amazing how she has her own unique style, but the more you listen to her, you kind of realize she's almost like a hybrid of different artists to become this unique act. And just go watch the video on YouTube and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. The Afropop wave on the song Ija is the type that will make me look forward to more music from Ayra Starr. Her melodious chords were beautifully accentuated by the backing vocals, pitched differently, but to perfection. Absolute perfection. The guitar came through on this track, and it's one of the instruments that really stands out on this project. Likewise, the mid-tempo vibe on Sare seems to be Ayra Starr at her best. It allows her to experiment with a unique intonation where she adds melodies in the middle of words in ways that sometimes remind me of the great James Blunt, where there's just, a raising of that vocal a little bit and you're like, this is quite unique, nobody does this. This makes Ayra Starr's cadence on such tracks wonderful to follow and distinct as well. No surprises that Sare was produced by the legend himself, Don Jazzy, because it really has that Afrocentric sound, that almost Afropop, Afrobeats hybrid.
Album review.
The technical side of things.
Theme-wise, this EP is pretty much in that love and relationships realm. And the flow of the EP was fire, with all the tracks falling into place quite nicely. Start to finish, it was easy to move from track to track and stay engaged with the music. And I really liked that because it made me want to listen to the next track and the next track and the next track. But it's only 5 tracks, so I had to repeat it. The strategy in having no features for a debut EP is at play here. And it gives you a good look into Ayra Starr's talent and capabilities. Much like fellow star Rema's self-titled debut EP, this EP shows a variety of styles that Ayra Starr is able to take on as a musician and maybe follow outright, depending on the response. I figure that she's trying out a few things to gauge the reaction before she goes deep with something more full length. Vocally, Ayra Starr is very talented. You can tell that she's still a diamond in the rough in some aspects, particularly conveying that conviction through her voice. On a song such as DITR, she can sound like she's actually trying to sound a certain way more than being seamlessly married to the story and the music as one. I heard a bit of Rihanna from her last album in that sense, but maybe without the finesse in execution. Obviously, I mean, it's Rihanna. She's like a legend in the game already. It's a tough one. However, when you consider she's only 18, there's plenty of room for growth, and this does not take away from her immense talent, and it's her first EP after all. For a project from the Maven camp, mixing and mastering aren't even a concern. It was top-notch as expected, and for a debut EP to be this good, I mean, you just have to give props where it's due.
Album review.
The final thoughts.
I did see some comparisons online between Ayra Starr and Thames, but I don't think there's much to have this hold any water. It's a simple case of two young Nigerian female artists, as expected, and Thames definitely got next as a singer and producer as well. The next 1 to 3 years will likely see Thames take the crown if she keeps up the great work, while Ayra Starr is still relatively new with tons of talent and still much to prove before we put her in the same, on the same platform as Thames. Overall, Ayra Starr has given her best on this and shows exciting signs of being one to keep a close eye on. My favorite songs from her self-titled EP are Ija, Sare, and Away, the one with the video, so check it out. If you like artists such as maybe Zinia Manasseh from Kenya, a bit of Good Girl LA, Thames, Omale, Fireboy DML, Rema, then there's a good chance you could rock with Ayra Starr, no problems. It's worth a try, and it's worth actually discovering what this amazing young talent is all about. So do check out her self-titled EP online. It's everywhere, really. Otherwise, that's it from me. My name is MJ Wemoto, son of Zimbabwe, signing out. This was the African Album Review Podcast. Peace. Dende.
Moto Music, the best place to listen to podcasts about African music online.